Hello, 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 and welcome to another another day where we're going to be playing trap chess. I never know how to start these things, so I'll just say that trap chess is a version of chess that has bombs, and the bombs blow up, and they remove chess pieces for you. So what I'll do is you can go to trapchess.com, download the app, and play with me live. It's for iPhone and Android. I will generate a play code. It will be on the screen, and I'll put it in the chat, and whoever enters that play code can play with me. So we have this ongoing thing going on where, where I am only going to take one trap until I lose, and then I'll move it up to 2. So currently I'm still at 1. I haven't lost yet. I did stalemate a couple times, which was pretty cool, where we had a lot of trap activations and some players that were playing really well. But we're just going to go ahead and do this, and I'll move the queen's pawn first. We'll go d2 to d4. So I'll just wait for someone to join. Someone will join, and we'll play. We have our first challenger. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions about trap chess or chess in general, feel free to ask. I would be happy to answer it. I'm a chess teacher, and I also created trap chess. So, all right, let's take a look. So, over here, you'll see me looking. That's where I have the chessboard, and I'm streaming. And then down here is where my phone is. So that's where I'm moving the pieces. So first I'll look at the board. Then we'll just go, okay, let's bring the knight out. Why not? I don't know openings. I'm a chess teacher that doesn't know openings. I play differently. I focus on more tactics. And I feel that if you improve and work on your tactics regularly, you can become a really good chess player. Okay, I'll go. I'll go here. Why not? How's everyone's day going? Or week? I guess today is the famous day known as Hump Day, made famous by the camel in the commercial on ESPN. So, let's see. Okay, bishop coming out. Let's bring our bishop out too. Oh, I made some changes. So every week I try to do something new to improve like trap chess or to work things out. So this week I've been working on getting a CNC machine cut prototype that I can use to do events on weekends. Because I feel like people fall in love when they play it, but I do have the app out now, but the chessboard gives you way more freedom. Let's see. All right. Other knight. Yeah, having the trap chess set itself gives you a lot more freedom because you can choose where you lay your traps. You get a new type of trap, chess piece traps that hide behind the chess pieces, and they equip to the chess piece. So like in this mode, I'll show you where my landmine is. I have one landmine. It's on E1. It's for pawns. It won't activate because pawns will promote first in the app. But yeah, with it just kind of stays on that square. It's never going to move. When you have the board game itself and you hide the traps in the chess pieces move, so the trap moves with the chess piece. So it's kind of cool. Your opponent could lose a piece every time they try to take a piece, or every time they capture a piece, which is a really cool mechanic. Let's see. I think my opponent's going to go g7 to g5 next, which is okay. I left myself a place to run with my bishop to h2, so we'll just continue. We'll do that. Start pushing through the center. I do have my knight protecting that e4 square now, so if they take, I can take right back. Oof, it's a hot day today. Where I stream, I have my computer. My computer is so hot, it's just spitting out heat all the time. So if I'm a little sweaty, it's because I've been working extra hard today. Let's see. Okay. Do I want to take? I could take. If I take and it's a pawn landmine, then at least I know the d5 square is safe going forward. Let's go ahead and do that. No pawn landmine. All right. Why not? I wanted to blow open that front door and just kind of break through the middle a little bit. Yep, they take back. Okay, we'll go pawn. I don't have to worry right now about a check on the E file because I know that my king is open on the E file. I don't have that pawn there anymore, but I do have 2 knights that can block and 2 bishops, so I'm not too concerned, and I'll address it if it becomes a problem or if I see a problem coming. That move is more, the A2 to A4 is more to give protection to the B5 square in case I decide to put my bishop there, and it also prevents my opponent from moving something to the B5 square as well. Oh, water is the most delicious drink. It definitely is. I'm considering taking the knight on A6 with my bishop on F1, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm just looking at the squares they can put their knight. All right, let's go ahead and block one of those squares and also open up my queen to come out onto B3, because the B7 pawn is not protected. So that move there with the C2 to C3, it blocks the knight from going to B4 because I can just take it with my pawn. And it would be 1 point for 3. So my opponent would be down on points there, which means they most likely will not do that move. But if they do, I'll be happy to take. Yeah, so one of the things I did in my office, I installed things. You can see in the back, I got a lava lamp in the corner, and then I put lights inside my cabinet I put my figures in, so I think those lights are pretty cool. I also have a couple other lights on in there. You may not be able to see them well. Let's see. Okay, that knight can come out. It can definitely get to the G4 square pretty easily, but that's not really a problem for me. So okay, we'll bring our queen out. Like I was thinking before, to the B3 square. I'm not too concerned about that knight. There's not a lot of force or a lot of pieces I can get through to that side right now. I have it blocked pretty well. A queen trade already? Why? I mean, I'm protected, you're protected. Why do you want to trade? It'd be funny if I took the knight on A6, their pawn takes back, then I take the queen on B6, the pawn takes back. It's like both pawns just moved forward 1 square, but they're actually different pawns on different files. Okay, I think I can push with my knight. I think I'll do that. No landmine on E5, please. Knight landmine. Nice, nice, good play. There goes my knight. Oh man. And just like that, I'm down. I'm down on points. All it takes is 1 landmine for you to be down on points, so. Man, knights are my favorite too. At least I know the E5 square is safe going forward. Yo, what's up, Jim's brother? LM, whites, cool. Oh, we're doing a queen trade, okay. Let's do that queen trade. I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm less okay with it now that a knight landmine took out my knight. Hey, thanks. Boom. Yeah, I got on that bottom there, I have a dragon that lights up on its own. You can see the color changing. And then up here, it's an EV terrarium. And so inside is an EV that's lit up. It has its own light as well. And then I got lights, 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 and lights. And then also over here, I have like a hutch for my desk, and I have lights on that now too. I bought them like 8 years ago, and they're like sticky lights with little remotes. And I went to put them up, and I was like, oh, these batteries aren't good anymore. So I had to get more batteries. Staples had this deal where if you bought up to $40 you spent on batteries, you would get it back 100% of it in Staples rewards. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll eventually buy something at Staples. That sounds fine. It was a pretty good deal. All right. So going for my bishop. They are pretty great. They're really versatile. You can do a lot with them. Yeah, Staples was killing it. I was like, that's a good deal. They had a deal this month or like this week. I don't know if it's a weekly or a monthly deal where, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the best strategy here. All right. I'm going to go here. I don't want to give up the bishop yet, and I have an idea of what I want to do. May not be the best move now that I've made it. I see that, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah, adhesive lights are amazing. You can do anything with them. Staples had a deal this week or this month where it was like up to $40 you spend on Scotch products. You get it back as points for 100% in points. So I was like, okay, I'll take packing tape. And then I think that's all I took. I took packing tape because if I have to wrap gifts and I'm out of Scotch tape, packing tape. You know, if I have to pack something, packing tape. If I have to play a prank on someone and put tape eye level on a door, packing tape. You know, it's the best. You can use it for anything. Okay. My opponent has made a mistake. We're going to punish by attacking with our pawn. Yeah, kitchen lighting is pretty cool, Jim's brother, to do that. Yeah, packing tape. It's the best. If you're losing in chess, you just run some packing tape across the board. It'll lift all the pieces, and then no one will remember who won or who was winning, who was losing. It's the best. Let's give a shout out to packing tape, everyone. Ready? Packing tape on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Packing tape. No? Okay. It'd be cool if you just saw like the chat get flooded with people saying packing tape, but there's no floods here because there's not enough people. All right, we're taking that knight. Absolutely. You can take packing tape, make it double-sided, and put it on the bottom of your king. And then if they try to checkmate you, they can never take the king off the board. So, I mean, technically, though, the king is the only piece that never leaves the board. So maybe if you do it to their pieces, and then they go to pick up their queen and the whole board comes with it, I think that's a victory. Oh, I totally want to do en passant right now. I'm doing en passant. It's going to open up that king. Boom. No landmine. Packing tape. What's up, Yodel 007? Yeah, so if you guys are looking for packing tape, the most versatile of all of the tapes, I would look at that Staples deal. It's a pretty good deal. All right, let's so I have a feeling that H5 may be a pawn landmine. I haven't hit any yet. So pawn landmines are the most common ones. So instead of defending with H4 to H5, I'm going to defend with the bishop on D3 to protect that pawn anyway. That pawn is pivotal in the future of this game because right now it's blocking the king from running away until that rook move. Now the king can go to F8, but before that, couldn't do anything. Okay. Let's see what else we can do here. I'm just looking at the board to see if there's any like weak squares I can focus on. Yes. We're going to castle. I'm going to castle. That'll bring my rook out. I actually have a square I see that's weak that I can go for right now, and it will be an easy way for me to break through. So the plan is to break through. You know, do you think someone would appreciate packing tape as a birthday present? I think if you gave them an empty box and you wrapped it in wrapping paper and then you put it together with packing tape and you told them that the box is just structural so I could give you packing tape in a box shape, they might cry from like happiness. They would be so happy. You know, it's quite possible they'd cry. All right, let's start pushing. I really think that would be top-notch present. Yeah. If you're asking about me, I just bought a lot of packing tape and I got reimbursed. I'll get reimbursed for it in 2 months. So, what do you think, Jim's brother? Would you like to get packing tape as a birthday present? The most versatile of all the tapes. Unless you consider maybe a VHS tape would be more versatile because you can have anything you want on it, you know? You could even attach packing tape to it. But packing tape can't hold images the way VHS tape does. Which is a really... Now I'm aging myself by saying these things. Now you guys know I'm not 15. Let's see. Okay, we're going to try to break through. I really hope there is not a bishop landmine on b5. Okay, good. That's my scared face. Like that, but it's also the winking face I make at my wife, and which is usually followed by a "Are you okay?" VHS tape is better than packing tape? Oh man. Yeah. That's true. DVD better than VHS. VHS better than packing tape. Is this like rock, paper, scissors, but packing tape beats DVD because you just wrap the DVD? I don't know. It could be like rock, paper, scissors. Boom. So I liked this line that I chose because attack the bishop. The bishop is the only thing protecting the e6 square, which I set my rook on to attack. And then when I take the bishop back, I'm attacking the knight, which has to be protected, which allows my rook to push through on e6 and get pretty close to the king. That was the goal. Now, the only piece that can take the pawn, see, but they're able to defend like that, which is totally fine. But the only thing that can take the pawn on g6 is the king, which would open up the king. So now that they've defended against that, we'll just protect that pawn with our rook. You know, rook protecting that pawn on g6 is probably a good move. That pawn is going to be a hero. Oh, they're trying to break through. They want to sacrifice the knight, I think, on c3. But okay, so I'll tell you the things I'm looking at right now. My opponent doesn't have a light-colored square bishop. So if I put my king on the light-colored square, I don't have to worry about that bishop ever checking me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now I have my king, my pawn on b2, both protecting the c3 pawn. So cool. We'll just do that. If they do put their bishop on b4, the pawn on c3 is pinned, so I can't take the bishop. But I can protect that pawn with my rook, or my rook on to e3, or my rook to g3. So it's not the end of the world. I can also block the rook from their rook on c8 from attacking the c3 square by putting my knight on c5. That way it just can't get through. And then I've broken the pin. So if their bishop will be a sitting duck if they put it on b4, and I'll be able to take it with the pawn next turn. I mean, they could also backtrack and take my knight on c5 if they did that, but I have my pawn protecting it on d4. So also that kind of opens up my bishop on h2. It has that whole diagonal, which is currently like a little weaker because of the bishop on e7. But yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing. They're doing a push. Okay. Well, I hope there's not a landmine on e6 for rooks. Ready? Haha, good. Good, good, good. And if you see that bomb on E1, that's just my useless bomb that won't do anything this game. So I'm basically playing chess, and my opponent is playing trap chess, but I'm trying to play chess in a way that avoids their traps. So, all right, so we got packing tape is worse than VHS, but DVD is better than packing tape. So how would packing tape be better than DVD if it's rock, paper, scissors? Like, let's see, we go like rock, paper, scissors. This would be like, you do this for VHS, if that's a square. So this is, I can't do a square, VHS. So you're like rock, paper, scissors, VHS. Where you go, rock, paper, scissors, packing tape. Or would that be DVD? I don't know. I don't know how this works. See, this is good. So my rook on E6 isn't protected. So if they could move their bishop and check my king, they could just take the rook when I save my king. But because my king is now in a light colored square, I don't have to worry about that. Before it was on C1, which is a dark colored square. You're not going for rock, paper, scissors? Oh, what about Rochambeau? I'm going to go... Okay, cool. No landmine on H5. That'll free up my rook to start moving, so that'll be nice. Okay. Cool. We'll just go rook for rook. Force them to make a choice. And that choice has led to the death of the bishop. Good. Oh, you know, I forgot about duct tape. Duct tape is pretty good. Yeah. I read this thing on the internet. I don't know if it's true, but it said if you get like a wart, you can put duct tape on it. And the duct tape will smother the wart and it'll eventually like fall off, or it'll like degrade and get smaller. I don't know if that's true, but that makes duct tape more versatile. So if we're doing Rochambeau or rock, paper, scissors and we're throwing duct tape in there, I would say duct tape beats wart. Wart beats human, and human beats duct tape. Does that work? Bubble tape. So many good tapes. Masking tape feels like the tape either a robber or a superhero would use, right? There's that guy in My Hero Academia that uses a tape from like his elbows. Yeah, there's a check. Cool. You broke through, but that's okay. Do that. I'm going to lose a pawn on that. Never heard of bubble tape? Isn't bubble tape the gum? It came in like a plastic container, and it was like bubble gum, and it rolled out, and you could just roll out as much as you want and pull it. I think that was bubble tape, right? Yeah. The ice cream man sold bubble tape? That's pretty cool. You had a cool ice cream man. Okay. I want to start... I'm afraid to go to my opponent's side of the board. It's scary there. There's a lot of enemies. So... B8. I hope it's safe. Yes. That's crazy. So my ice cream man, when I was a kid, he did IOUs. You could go up to him and be like, yo, could I get an Italian ice IOU? And they give you like a little one. It was like a quarter. And then next time you saw him, you'd bring him a quarter. Oh, man. We're going to play this game with the back and forth checks. It's not going to work. I'm going to protect that knight. There's only one knight landmine left, so it's safer to use my knight in like battle, so we'll do that. And now the knight is protected by those pawns. It's attacking the pawn on a6. Everything looks good. Oh. What are you gonna do? Pawn landmine. Yeah, right. A quarter? How much was the bubble tape, Yodel, when you bought it from your ice cream man? We're gonna say nope on losing that pawn. We're not gonna lose that pawn. We're just gonna protect it. PLM. Yep, pawn landmine. If you go to the move log, here you go. You can see the knight landmine on move 11. Well, I mean, it's move 22. No, 21. Because it's 11 for white and black, but 21 because white makes odd number of moves because they make 1, 3, 5, 7, and black makes even. And then you can see the pawn landmine is move 33, which would be 65. Oh, man. Check, check, check. That's okay. We'll use our king as a weapon. $1 or $2 for bubble tape, though? You ever, I bet you if you ate all the bubble tape and then put packing tape back in there and returned it, you would get back $2 because packing tape is the best tape. Yeah, but duct tape would be upset to hear me say that. Okay. Go, my king. Kill all the pawns. Take them. See, so here's the thing. I can't take that pawn on b5 yet. If I take it, it opens up an X-ray attack. The type of X-ray attack would be known as a skewer, because my opponent would, well, they checked me here, but what would happen is they would, let's attack. I would move my king out of the way, and the bishop on b8 would be taken. So a skewer is where a more valuable piece is being attacked, and when you move it out of the way, a less valuable piece behind it is taken. So I wouldn't take that pawn until I set up and move my bishop out of the way, which I'm going to do now. Okay, I thought there'd be a landmine. I'm really happy there isn't. 20 years ago feels like a long time ago, but like time is just going by like that. Let's go. I have a spot opened where I can push my rook through now. What was your favorite thing to get from the ice cream man? Because I had some friends, they were like, oh man, the Sonic the Hedgehog ice cream is the best. I'm going to take that. They were like, the Sonic the Hedgehog ice cream is the best. And then I got one once, and it did not look like Sonic the Hedgehog. It looked like... I just remember it didn't look like Sonic the Hedgehog. It had seen better days. Okay. Cool. Check. Cool. Check. I like when I'm able to push my opponent to my side of the board because I don't have to worry about landmines that way. All right. Pawn landmine again. Chipwich? Chipwich was good. I think second place, if we're going Chipwich first, second place is Choco Taco. I like the Choco Taco. PLM. Yep. All right, we're gonna set up. Start pushing for a checkmate. We're gonna try to bring their king to my side of the board and go for the checkmate. Okay, here we go. Choco Taco. They were sold out pretty often. The drumstick, with the peanuts on top. Nice. Drumsticks were pretty good. Those were good. I'm going to bring the rook to this side first, just so I know it's safe. I was considering going to g6, but I know if I go to g6, there's a chance I'll hit a bomb. So we're not going to do that. You know, there's a lot of condensation on my mug, and it always sticks on my coaster, or it frequently sticks on my coaster. We're going to take that. That may seem like a mistake, but the point of it is to stop the king. Have the king stuck on that side of the board. You never wanted the actual ice cream of them? You didn't want a SpongeBob? You didn't want ice cream that tasted or looked like a sponge? Here we go. Bring the knight in. Yeah. SpongeBob was always better in the picture than in real life, yeah. So was Sonic. All of them were. You would like get it, and then you're like, why is the eye near the foot? What happened here? This poor cartoon sponge. Check. Oh, boy. Let's do that. Good game. Good game. Checkmate. So the main thing was, if you want to checkmate with a rook and a king, you want to have the king directly across from the other king, one space apart, and then put the rook on the last file. So normally the ideal would have been like my king on f4, their king on h4, and then put the rook over. But because they had this pawn that could move, I can't like force them to keep moving their king, and I don't want to stalemate. So I put my knight to block the one square the king could go to, which was g5, which normally would be blocked by my king if I did it the way I was trying to do it. And then I went for the checkmate. Good game. That was a really great game. I think I wanted to move to f6 at one point with my rook, and I didn't. So I'm really happy I didn't. All right, I'm going to throw another code in the chat. If someone wants to join, feel free to join. Here's the play code, WGP2LK. Papow. Sorry if I scared you with the papow. We're going to do the same move as last time for the opening move. I take one trap until I lose, and then you guys force me to take two. What were some of your favorite cartoons as a kid? Oh, nice. Someone joined. Let's go. I'm ready. Okay. We'll do this. Papow. Yeah. My wife says, like, she has this one, she says, she goes like, wabam. But then I'm like, give it your all. And she goes, Well, bam. So she always puts the accent or the strength on the bam. And I love it. It's my favorite thing about our relationship. How she says, well, bam. That's my favorite thing. You can tell her I said that. And she'll roll her eyes like usual. She's generally rolling her eyes at me. One time I had to take her to the optometrist because I thought her eye was having a problem, but it was just rolling. And the optometrist was, you really should just stop telling jokes if you want this to stop. And I did, and it stopped, but I don't know. It's difficult. Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was good. I remember Danny Phantom. That was a good cartoon. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah, the medical advice from the doctor was, you really got to stop telling her jokes. They're not good. And I was like, oh, man. So the next day I made her breakfast. And I was like, I can't tell you jokes, but here's some eggs and here's some yolks. And she's still with me. I don't know why. They were protecting their night. I was setting up something for the future that could work, but it's not going to work. So we'll do this. We'll block their bishop from coming down to g4 by putting the pawn there, but it also gives my bishop a place to run to. I can always push it back to h2, which will give me that whole diagonal, but have it be in a spot where it's pretty safe. Samurai Jack. I recently put together a jigsaw puzzle that was like of Samurai Jack older, you know, for like the later season, because I went back and rewatched it, and it was a lot of the same color. It was really good though. It was a lot of fun to do. I want to glue it and put it in a frame, but someone told me recently they have these giant books you can like glue and put puzzles in and then like flip through. But I don't know where I would put a giant book, because then I'd have to get a giant bookshelf, and then I'd have to get a giant house for the giant. It's just, you know, you can't. One thing leads to another. Samurai Jack was really good though. I finished it recently, like in the last year and a half, because I hadn't seen the new season. I'm watching the new season of Primal right now, which was also done by Genndy Tartakovsky, the creator of Samurai Jack. The new season of Primal is pretty good so far. If you've never seen Primal, there's not a lot of words in it. It's mainly grunting and shouting. It's very similar to the New York City subway. Yeah. Puzzles are tough because if you put it together and you leave it out for too long, you know, before you know it, it's been there for 18 years and now you got to send it to college. It's not. So they're a commitment for sure. You know, you get it to 17 and you got a driver's permit. And, it's rough. Okay, I figured out my plan. I'm going to do this. I think my opponent might go pawn to g5. I can always run back to h2, which I planned for ahead of time. Oh, they weren't paying attention. Unless it's a trap. Is there a bishop landmine there? Bishop landmine. Nice play. They wanted me to do that. So the cool part about the bishop landmine going off there is if my opponent didn't set that up, what would happen is I would take and they would take back. So they would have to spend their turn taking. But because the landmine did the work for them, they're allowed to do whatever they want. So instead, they opted to put their pawn on a6 anyway. But they could have done any move they wanted because the landmine did the capture for them. Okay, let's see. Last game, there was a knight landmine on e5. What are the chances there's another knight landmine on e5? I'm not going to try to figure that out. I'll just move my queen up. My queen will now attack the a6 square, so if my opponent moves their rook off of a8, I can bring my queen in there. Okay? And so that information there, them protecting the a6 square a little bit, tells me Well, I already know the a6 square had a bishop landmine. You can see it in the move log. It doesn't scroll far enough for you to see it right now. But let's say it didn't, or I hadn't activated a landmine there. Their action there showed me they don't want the queen to go to a6. So it tells me it's generally probably a safe square for my queen. Okay, let's see what else. Okay. I'm thinking... Okay, let's do this. I'm going to start trying to get my rooks out. Cover some territory with my rooks. Okay, I'm going to take. Do you guys do jigsaw puzzles? If you do, what's the piece count that you prefer? Oh, that was a mistake. All right, I'm going to capitalize on it. Take the rook. Get that rook out of here. That rook is cooked. Okay, I'm done. All right. Take, because I know a6 is safe. That's totally fine if the queen comes down to b2. Do that. It's protected by my knight on c3, so the queen can't do anything. It has to go to the side somehow, and then I can push my rook all the way to the other side, and that is not good for my opponent. Yep, and I think they just noticed that. I can't believe there was a rook landmine on b8. That's crazy. Rook landmine? Ah, good move. That's crazy. Wow. Oh boy. That was handy. That was incredibly handy. They had a lot of pressure coming there with that. They only had one move to avoid checkmate, and that was bishop to c8. And then if I brought anything else in, it would have been a problem for them. But that rook landmine was very helpful. Okay, so last game there was a knight landmine on e5. This time there was not, thankfully. Looks like we're safe. Nice. Take the pawn, go for the check. The knight is preventing the king from running away. Cool. It looks like it'll be checkmate soon. That was the only move that I saw to avoid checkmate aside from knight to f6. I don't really have to push too hard here. I'm going to take my time because I don't want to hit any more landmines. So I'm going to go ahead and just slowly get that rook out of the corner and bring it in. Okay. Good. Safe square. Safe, safe, safe. I didn't know if it would be safe or not. Good game. I'm going to put the rook on the square that it lost. It died last time. Good game. Checkmate. Okay, cool. Good game. Let's see where the other landmines were. Oh, there was a queen landmine on f7 and on e8. So good thing I avoided those. And the other rook landmine was on b7. I think a couple weeks ago I had a game where I literally lost a rook on b8. Or I lost one on b7, and then I moved another one to b8 and I lost it. So good game. Thanks for playing. I'm going to throw another code in the chat for anyone that wants to play. H5. And it really means a lot that you guys come in and watch me play the silly game I made. Because it's so silly. You know? Alright. This move's working well. We're going to stick with it for today. Oh. It didn't make the real heart. I had to add a space afterwards. Thanks for playing. That was a really good game. Okay, let's see. You can see there the reflection of my screen. It's pretty cool. Okay. Let's try something new. Okay. We're doing something new here. Oh. So, did anyone work on anything this week that they're really proud of? Oh man, I left my my G2 square wide open. Yeah, Jim's brother, you working on anything this week? Did you work on anything that you're proud of that you want to share? They saw it. I think they saw it. I wasn't actually leaving it open. It was a trick. Yeah. So the secret's out. Let's do that. Okay, take. Oh, what is it? Oh, cool. Are you using Blender? Blender is what I used when I was doing 3D printing. Take pictures. So it's called snap cards. The gist is you take pictures of creatures to create cards. So are the creatures like you go out and take a picture of a bird? I have this game or this app called Cornell Bird Labs, where it's like a Pokedex, but for birds. So you go around taking pictures and they'll tell you if they're rare, their migratory patterns, things like that. Yeah, Blender's amazing. It's so cool that it's open source. When I was doing 3D printing, I was using Blender and Cura. I defended my king with my knight on e2. The reason I did that is because it seemed a lot better than moving the knight or putting my bishop out. If I put my bishop on e4, that would have been a blunder because I would have lost a pawn and then still had to deal with being attacked on g2 when it was all done. Oh, cool. Okay. So are you like walking around in the game, you see a creature, you take a picture of it, and it turns into a card? Ah, okay. Okay. That's still really cool. I don't fully understand it yet, but it sounds like it's something that you just started working on. So ideas grow and like over time. So pretty sure this is a trap, but I'm going to take it anyway. Yeah. Pawn landmine. I knew it. I knew it. The way it was set up, it felt like a trap, you know? I really liked Flymageddon. Are you pretty much done with it? I played it a few times. For anyone watching, Flymageddon is this game where you're a fly and you shoot fish. But you eventually get eaten as you play, which is normal. And it gets harder and harder the more you play because the fish get bigger and bigger. And some of the fish get, and they jump pretty high. And you have to like hover away from them. It's fun. Let's see. All right, we're going to bring more pieces into this. If I don't know what to do, I should always bring more pieces in. Yeah, it's a work in progress. It takes a while. It took me 6 months to finish this app, to finish Trap Chess. And I worked on it every day. Okay. We're going to do some blockers here. I think that's a really great way to stop my opponent. I don't have any usable landmines again, so... It takes a while. It really does. You have to be consistent. It has to be a habit. I've been working on Trap Chess version 2.0, but like casually, because I have so many other things to do. But whenever I like finish a work in progress or something, I like throw some time at it. Yeah. Good luck. I know you'll get there though. So keep at it. Let's see. So what I'm seeing is you move the pawn on f6 to f5, opens up the X-ray attack from g7 to hit b2 and go for my rook. Yeah, I mean, I just started. I added a lobby that will be available if you sign up and create an account. And the lobby has like the things I want, but none of them are wired yet. So I have to test. I put some updates recently that I haven't tested yet to make sure they work the way I wanted. It's just a bunch of placeholders right now, but it's going. You know, it just takes time. I have a like a playground I use, like a playground server I made that I've been working in, so I don't mess with this version of the app because there are 6-digit codes, but that's a lot of digits, but there's still a limit, and I don't use some like letters and numbers. Like I don't use 0 and I don't use any vowels because that way it prevents swear words from popping up. I think I got one that was I had a couple swear words pop up when I was testing, and I was like, oh, I need to fix this. Just by, you know, because it's random chance, but it happened. And then I got some like funny ones where I was like, wow. I got one, it was like FEQQQS, I think. And then I messaged someone, I was like, yo, what does the FEQQQS say? And I was like referencing what does the fox say, but you know, it was a stretch. It wasn't really a good joke, like most of my jokes. Okay. You know, I'm torn here because I see the f6 to f5 move, But I'm not too concerned about it because I can just take the bishop. You know, I'm not too like concerned, but I also don't want to deal with that move. So I'm considering moving away. Huh. I don't know. All right, well, we're going to do this then. I think that's the best counter to it. Yeah, I had to remove vowels though, specifically to avoid. But I mean, like, you'll still get codes that are like FCK672 or something, you know. But at least it's not the full swear word. So I felt like it was an improvement. Yeah, I'm not too concerned on that anymore because I protected my bishop. So yeah, it's true. Okay. We're just going to retreat. That pawn is hanging now. I have my bishop that can take it. I like the retreat move more. And then I have my rook protecting the bishop. Now, like, putting the bishop between all those, or sorry, taking the bishop back if they take on b2, taking it with my rook, puts my rook in between, like, all those pawns around it. So it can't really do much, but it's still better than the rook being in the corner. Because if I move one of those pawns, I'll be able to, like, move the rook, you know, make it a little more versatile. Being in the corner is like, it can only go in two directions, but if it's there, it's fine. So, okay, we're gonna... Are they gonna put their rook on e6? All right, we're gonna do this and attack the knight that's not protected now. Yeah, I think it'll work. It's not blatant. I had some funny ones that popped up. So I just, I think I screenshotted them at some point. Okay, let me see if I can force something here. This game is pretty close, right? It feels close. Yeah, 6-6. This is a much closer game than the other games so far. So I'm just considering my options. All right, we'll go queen. The pawn on f5 is not protected. So we'll just put that there, but still keep extra protection on that knight on e2 right now. This is a pretty close game. It's going to require some thought. I need to be careful because of the landmines. Like, I don't know where they are, but I have one again and it's not helpful for me, so. I'm going to make my king my weapon of choice. I have a plan for my king. Interesting. I think I have to take. So what I'm thinking is if I take the pawn on g4 with my pawn, if I move it forward again, that's a fork. But it also opens up them to take on g2 with their bishop, which threatens my rook, which isn't the worst. You can just kind of run. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do it. I think that's a good move for me. I have a plan. It actually is kind of the plan I already had, but it forces more. So I think it'll work in my best interest to do it this way. That was expected. This is my expected counter. Are you enjoying the game? Are you following everything that's happening? Are you playing me, Jim's brother, by the way? Interesting. I didn't see that coming. But I don't think my opponent saw this coming. I believe the term here is uh-oh spaghettios is the proper term. Oh, okay. Who's playing me is, so far, they were doing a pretty good job. It is, but I think this move here just tipped the scales. The rook on e1 is attacking the queen on e7, and the queen can't move because the king on e8. And any attempts to block will fail because now that bishop on g2, which could have blocked before, not well, is blocked. It can't come back because the pawn blocks it. And then I have g5 as a follow-up move with my pawn. Yep, well, I'm going to take that. There's no reason I shouldn't take that queen for a rook. It's a good deal for me. Okay. They didn't... Oh, yeah, they can't take back because of my queen on d3. Well, they could. Actually, they could have. I don't know why they didn't take back, actually. That doesn't make sense to me. All right, we're going to do this. Perfect. So that is what's known as a fork. It's a pawn fork. So the pawn is attacking the rook and the knight both at the same time. However, the knight on f6 is pinned. Well, it's not really pinned because the bishop is protecting both of them. But my rook on e6 is a problem for them too. Classic pawn fork. Interesting. The king is running, so we're going to keep pushing it away. Good. I was really afraid there was going to be a bishop landmine there. I took with the bishop rather than the queen because I didn't know if there was a landmine. There could have been a queen landmine, and I wasn't ready to lose my queen over that. So let's do that for a check. Good game. Checkmate. Let's take a look at where the landmines were. Okay. So we had a queen landmine on b6 and a queen landmine on g5. I was pretty safe with those. Yeah, I had knight landmines were h8 and f5. Bishop landmines were e6, e8, so my bishops were pretty safe. It was 2 on light colored squares, so the only bishop that was actually in danger was my light colored square bishop, which is on b5. And then the rook ones were d8 and a6. So cool. Good game. Thanks for playing. I'm going to go ahead and make another play code and throw it in the chat if someone wants to play. 3B. Boom. 67B W3B, and I'm gonna go all the way down to 1 landmine until I lose. And we're gonna. I accidentally made the wrong move. I wanted to do up 2 instead of 1, but that's okay. I wanted to continue doing the same move I've been doing for the whole day, but I misclicked. I mistapped. It happens. So yeah, if someone wants... Okay, looks like someone joined. Great. We'll get to play another game. Okay. We'll do that. We'll try to go for the center again after blundering it. We'll take. No problem. Perfect. Thank you. And like that, I have water. It just appears, right? Isn't that crazy? Okay. Let's see. I do knight on the side of the board, which isn't my normal like move. It's not my normal MO, but why not? I could have taken the pawn. I was thinking about taking the pawn, then I just went, let's keep this spicy. Right? It was magic. It just appeared. This is one water. This is another. I don't know how it happened. This one won't affect the coaster because it's double insulated. So, okay, let's see. Do this. Yeah. Okay. So I have one mug like this. That's glass. And it got chipped on the side. So I put it in my mouth. I was like, oh, is this the chipped one? Did I forget? And I'm okay, but I was concerned for a second. It's not the chipped one. I just really like it. It has cloud on it from Final Fantasy VII. Like it's like a glass thing, and it has like what's it called? Like clouded glass. It's like gray on it. Laser etched. That's the term I wanted, and it looks really cool. So I kept it, even though it has the chip on the side. So I just have to like remember, don't drink it from that side. And that was the side, and I was like, oh no, did I mess up? Okay. Okay, we'll do this. I mean, I left that pawn open on purpose. I had a plan, but they didn't take it, so I'll just repurpose my bishop to attack the queen. I was actually going to do knight to f4 at one point, but get that queen out of here. What? A check? I feel like just moving the bishop up. Just diagonal, 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 diagonal. Just keep going. Ladder that bishop up. I said ladder, not lather. Okay. We'll do the other bishop. Nice. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know there was a soap emoji. That's probably pretty good for when people are like saying bad things in chat. You just send the soap emoji and it cleans it. My opponent is being very aggressive with their queen, but I think that'll backfire on them in the long run. Yeah, thanks for cleaning up the chat. It looked a little dirty. I saw some smudges, and after you put that, I thought it was my screen, but it's not. It was definitely the chat. So thanks for putting that there and fixing it. I hereby dub Jim's brother 2 as Mr. Clean. You don't want my knight to move? Why? Why? Okay. Well, let's end this. We'll go ahead and do that so I don't have to worry about any more of these pins. Okay. I'm going to move my knights into play, and I'm going to start coming for that queen. Excuse me. I know the person playing is most likely watching, so I say these things and they go, ah, that's what he's doing. But sometimes I'll say one thing and it's a trap. All right, let's attack that queen. Excuse me. I got 2 knights together. I got 2 bishops together. I have a rook that's ready to come out that's been castled. Another rook that can get the B file. I feel pretty good about my my positioning. Even though I'm down a pawn, I'm not too concerned about it. I think I have a much better position than my opponent currently. Interesting. Boop. It's all it takes is a simple pawn move to make you go, ah. That's it. What the ah was kind of sounded like, I don't know what that sounded like, a animal at the zoo. You know, I hear opposing views on like the zoo. I always thought about it as like you go there and you see these animals you didn't know existed, and it helps like bring in funding for those animals if they're endangered or they need like their habitat protected. And I always thought that was kind of cool. But I also see the other side of it where people go like they should be in their natural habitat, you know, they shouldn't be caged. And I also agree with that, but it's, I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult to have like a proper stance on zoos because humans are responsible for like the destruction of a lot of species. And it feels like the zoos are kind of like a way for humans to try to like fix that a little. But I feel like there has to be a better way. But I don't know. Everyone is like different. It's difficult to come up with a solution. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't think my opponent likes their queen placement right now. If I were them, I would not like it either. Yeah, zoo ethics, you know. So today we've talked about, let's rehash everything we've talked about. We've talked about tape, the best kind of tape. We've talked about VHS tape, bubble tape, the gum. We've talked about the ice cream man. Talked about the zoo. What else have we talked about? It's been a very educational session so far. I think at some point we talked a little bit about chess. I don't really remember. But there may have been a moment where we talked about chess. Puzzles, shows, a little bit of chess, yeah. Talked about many of the important topics. Oh, if we're talking about important topics, we didn't touch on cheese. I love cheese. It's delicious. Yeah, that pawn move. Forks. We talked about forks. How can you talk about forks without talking about cheese, which you use forks to pick up? I think we goofed. It's a big goof moment not doing that. I think we talked about skewers, which are great. I love using a skewer for barbecue. One cheese for the rest of my life. Oof. Cheesy jokes. That's what I would pick, the cheesy jokes for the one cheese. What about you? I think they're really thinking here. So I've been playing this game where I'm slowly, well, in the beginning I was just kind of getting my pieces out, but I like the idea of taking away my opponent's good moves, and I've been trying to play with that in mind. And now with how aggressive they've been with their queen, I feel like I'm slowly able to do that because I have a commanding position on the center of the board right now. Parmesan is a good choice. I've been trying new cheeses lately. I tried this new one called, or well, it's new to me, called St. Stephen's cheese, and I really liked it. That was pretty good. Let's see. Okay. We're at the point in the game where we have to like really take our time, you know? One wrong move could be it. I'm considering a few things. Okay. If there's a pawn landmine here, I think it's still okay. So let's see what happens. Okay, cool. I'll push. My rook on a1 is protected by my queen, so I don't really have to worry about it. All right, I hope there isn't a knight landmine here. Well, let's think. I could take with the knight or the queen. My rook on a1 will still be protected by my rook on f1 because it's X-ray protecting the a1 rook. Putting the queen there. That attacks the rook in the corner. How do they defend? There is no defense. Okay. Queen landmine is the defense. Oh, that one hurts. That hurts. Oh, good play. I should have used the knight. Oh, good play. Good play. Oh, man. Good play. The game just got more difficult for me. Good job. I know. That one hurt. That hurt. So let's see. Let's see if I can still go for the win. We'll see what happens. I should have done pawn to c3. I think that would have been better. It kind of blocked the queen, and that was a very quick move I made without thinking about the repercussions. But that's okay. I mean, the repercussions are I'm not protecting my pawns anymore, but I really didn't mind that much, you know? So let's see. Okay. Let's Let's start doing some attacks. I think that's a good idea. I have a lot of X-ray attacks I set up just for this moment. It's going to be difficult to come back from a queen deficit, but I think I have the positioning to do it. Let's keep pushing. So the goal here is to attack the queen, but also set up that fork on c7. So that will have to be protected, but I do have a way to instill a little bit more attack strength there. So we'll check that out. My opponent has to be pretty careful here. Okay. All right. Let's go for the bishop on c8. Yep. Immediately they were like, nope. Okay. I think that's it. I think I'm good now. Things look good for me now. Okay. I'm happy with that move. I set that up pretty well. I executed it. Whoa. Did they see that? Like, I think they saw it. The plan was take the rook, bishop takes back, rook goes to c8, checkmate. Yeah, but the fork was just like part one. I was trying to go for a checkmate there. But, I mean, I still got it. Yeah. I thought when they traded the queen, they saw the checkmate. And they were like, I'm not going to mess with this. Which is why I opted to, like, I was confused. I was like, wow, great move. But then they moved the bishop and traded for the knight. And I was like, oh, they didn't see the checkmate. So I went for it. Good game. That was a good game, though. Can't believe I lost my queen there on that landmine. Let's look at the move log. Yeah, that was that was move 27. I can tell that. So because white is always the odd moves and black is always the even moves. So if I see 14, I know black's move was 28, so white's would be 27. Yeah, it is hard to spot. So let me hide the landmine so you can see it. So I had set up my rook on d2 to just basically block their king from being able to run that way, but they never moved any pawns, like their e pawn or the f pawn. So their king was stuck. So the goal was knight on c7. The bishop on b7 was preventing me from putting my rook there to go for the checkmate. So knight c7, fork, and then, you know, take the rook and then run the rook, take the rook on a8 and then run the rook down and force their king. But I mean, if they had run with the king, they would have been able to get to g7, which is still fine because now you got the bishop in the corner on a8. I can take the knight on b8 for free, you know. So I was looking at those moves. I just didn't expect the way this turned out, but that was a really good game. Can't believe I lost my queen. All right, let's play again. This might be my last one. We'll see how it goes. 6Q, 9-2, CG. Boom. I'm going to use one landmine again because I haven't lost yet. But cool. And we're going to do the same move. This time I will do it properly. Instead of going one square, I'll go two. So whoever wants in next game, come on in. And there's the opponent. You can tell when they join because you hear the boom sound, which is the sound of a piece moving. And you also can see that their landmine count now says 16, which means they chose a number and they chose 16. All right, let's take the center. I like to do different openings all the time because unique positions is how I get better. You know, it's how people get better because you have to face new challenges with unique positions that you have to overcome, so it teaches you something, you know. Okay, let me think. So like the thing I'm looking at is the F5 or B5 square. I could put my bishop from F1 on B5, and then I'm looking at the possibility of my pawn being on D5, because now I got two squares or two pieces attacking the C6 square, and usually like you can force something, but right now it's on the queen side, and the queen side has extra protection, so I don't think it'll work. So we're just gonna take, and I thought there was a landmine, but there isn't. After how last game went, I'm totally going to trade queens. If I can. Take away their ability to castle. Oh. Interesting. This is a different play than I thought you'd make. Alright, we'll go knight. Still pawn, pawn. Pawn for pawn, but bringing the queen out like that does stop me from going D1 to D8 for a queen trade when they take it with the pawn. Excuse me. But that doesn't mean I can't attack that queen out of there. By attacking the queen, I'll be able to develop my pieces, so I'll have more of an advantage. Man, they really like that B2 square. Okay. Just gonna do that. I'll protect B2. I want to hold on my rooks because the sneaky rooks are the most fun rooks. And if you play your rooks right, they're all sneaky. You want to bring that knight in there? Try doing that when your queen is under attack. Oh! Excuse me, I got a little excited. Let's see. Well, bam. Let's just keep going. We're going to keep attacking that queen. The only way to really save the queen is to like retreat. Go back to like C7 or D8. That's it. So now I've developed a bunch of pieces and the king is, or the queen is going back basically to its starting square. It's pretty good for me. Really? I don't think they saw the threat on the queen, so we're going to take advantage of that and take it. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Myself included. Like the other day, I took my dog out and I did not bring a bag with me. So then she went to the bathroom. I had to go back inside, get a bag, and go back to where she had gone to the bathroom to pick it up. See? Big mistake. Wasted some time. Nope. Just gonna go there. Oh, thanks. For picking up poop? It's important to clean up after yourself. If everyone does it, the world's a better place. Good game. That was a quick one. Yeah, a lot of people don't. It's like, come on. You chose the responsibility of having a dog. This comes with the responsibility, cleaning up after the dog. So, good game. Yeah, I was, people like to castle, but I don't like castling all the time because you fall into situations like this. It's a double-edged sword because your king is close to the corner, which is pretty weak, but it does bring the rook out. But if you castle, you have to be able to castle on a side that you can defend well. And that was the main thing here. It wasn't a square or a side that was defended well. So good game. I'll start one more because that was a fast one. 7. Yeah, it's important to, if you understand the responsibility you're taking on, or even if you don't, you have to be accountable for that responsibility and handle it. As I've grown older, as I've become, I mean, I'm an adult now, but as I've grown older, I've noticed that I know other adults that don't take accountability for things that they're responsible for, and it bothers me. Like, everyone makes mistakes. But I mean, I see, like, I went to the shelter and or the place, the adoption place, when I got my dog, and they were saying, like, yeah, we'll take the dog back if you don't want the dog. I was like, but why do people return the dogs? And they're like, all the time. And I'm like, why? They're like, well, they get the dog and the dog's a puppy, and the puppy destroys something, and then they just bring him back. And I was like, I guess it's people that aren't familiar with how destructive puppies are, but it's a little disheartening to hear that there's people going out there getting a puppy, failing to understand or putting in the effort to understand the puppy, and then returning the puppy. If you put in the effort to understand the puppy will react accordingly. Like, it's you know, I have no doubt my puppy is going to be one of my best friends. And I put in work every day doing training, walking, playing. Like, every day I put in work, and you know, I understand that's the responsibility I signed up for. So it's disheartening to see that people return dogs like that, and that, or they'll get responsibility and not be accountable for it. Sorry, I'm just rambling again, but yeah, I think this will be my last game. It's not close to me. Historically, any pet I have destroys my wife's things and leaves my things alone. So I think it was like the first week, the puppy chewed my wife. I noticed the puppy liked wires, and I noticed that because I have like a sound system, and it was kind of, it was having problems. So I was thinking like, I'm going to toss it anyway or get a new one eventually. And the puppy chewed through the wires for the sound system. And I was like, all right, well, it's broken now. So that was more like mine, but I guess like ours, you know, like a speaker, that like the speakers were ours. So puppy destroyed my sound system. But for my wife, the puppy chewed through her laptop charger for work. So she was supposed to work from home the next day, but she had to go in anyway now because she needed a laptop charger. And she picked one up, came home, and it was fine. And then later that night, the puppy chewed it again, and I had to order a new one. And she was like, I'm affecting the budget in my department now because I keep getting so many laptop chargers. And I was like, okay. So this time the puppy only chewed like the cable on the one side. So I had to replace the cable, not the power pack. The power pack is the expensive part. So it was only like $10 to get 2 of them. But if you have to get like both the set, I think it's like 50 to 80. So it's a big difference. So yeah, the puppy chewed through that. Puppy's only had like 4 accidents in the house, maybe 5, but that's like totally understandable because she's learning. You know, it's a new puppy. She doesn't know to go outside. She's learning. By the way, Jim's brother, if you want in, feel free to enter the code and we can play. But yeah, overall, she's been really good. I put in a lot of energy with her. I tire her out. I crate train her. So when I tire her out, I put her in the crate. And she'll just pass right out. She'll go right to sleep. If you don't put her in the crate, she won't go to sleep. So she'll just like be like, I'm out. I want to destroy things. And she'll like nip and bite and stuff because she's tired. And then when you put her in the cage, she goes, oh, okay. And she'll complain. She'll look around and then she goes, okay. And then she just, and that's it. She's out for like a couple hours. So yeah, I take her outside too, and I call it off leash training, but it's not, the dog isn't off the leash. I have an area near my house. It's like a big field, and there's like walls on the sides, or like it's kind of like slanted down into the big field. So the puppy can't like see up, because if you bring the puppy down below, she can't see like up because it's kind of like, you know, it's slanted kind of high. Nope, no one's in yet. I'll put the code in 7XMQ. Oh, I put the wrong code. 7XMQGD, not 60. I'm sorry. I put 60. It's GD. My bad. And so there's like, the puppy can't see people, so it's just me and her in like this big open field, and I bring a 100-foot rope, and I use that as the leash, and I tie it real tight around her collar or her harness, and then I just kind of wander around and let her like. Really? Did you? Okay, I can remake it. I'll resign. Photos, exit. Yeah, so I use a big rope. 72 TPCP. Yeah, it's really helpful because it gives the dog the illusion of freedom, even though it's not really like freedom. There's no like freedom. It's just like if the dog runs, I have all this time to step on a rope, you know. And when she's getting bigger, I'll wear gloves so I don't get like rope burn. But right now I can just step on the rope and that's enough because she's like 30 pounds. But it helps because then every time she's like, she loses focus on sniffing things, she'll look at me and I'll call her over and I'll get low and I'll call her and she comes and I just give her really good food. And it teaches her like come more. And it also has the illusion of freedom. So she can, it'll help in the future. Like I know I did this with my old dog, and if my old dog got loose, she wouldn't run away. She might like chase a rabbit or something. Like I would bring her into the Poconos where there's like no people and bring her in the woods and be like, there, go have fun. And she would chase a rabbit or something and then come right back, and then chase a squirrel and come right back, you know, chase a deer, come right back. And it made her tired and happy. So I just like the idea of knowing I have a dog that won't run away, so that when I bring the dog to a place with a lot of room and no people, no other dogs, no animals, or, you know, just like I bring her in the woods, I can just let her go and she'll have fun and come right back. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it's hard to get it later on, so I'm trying to do it now. But it's been raining a bit, so I'll do that. That blocks the knight from going to e4 or g4 because I can take it with the pawn. So yeah, I've been doing that for training. I think it'll work well. So Jim's brother, when you're moving, remember that moving other pieces and developing gives you more options for moves later. If you focus on one piece, I can do things like this, which force you to save it. And then I can continue to develop, which puts you at a disadvantage later in the game. Yeah, see? Pow. Yeah, sorry. There goes the knight. You saw it after you moved it, right? I get that. It was good. It was good if the bishop wasn't there. It was slick. But you were forking a bishop, which is worth the same as a knight, and a queen, which is worth more. So I would save the queen, threaten the knight, and then if you take the bishop, I take it. And it just, it's an even trade. But I like where your head's at. Take your time on your moves. Think them through. Wow, we've had a lot more viewers today than usual. I think at one point we had like 7 people watching, which is a lot more. So I hope if you guys are just tuning in, just know this is Trap Chess. Trap Chess is you can go to trapchess.com and download the app. There's also I do that wrong every time. There's a board game coming out, and you can follow the Kickstarter or sign up for updates on when the board game comes out. That right there is the Divider add-on. So Trap Chess, the app, lets you play. It's the least barriers to entry to try it. You pick how many landmines, you generate a code, send it to a friend, pick how many traps you want. It auto hides them in the board. The board game lets you pick where you hide your traps, and you get an additional type of trap known as the chess piece trap that equips to your chess pieces. So if every time you take a piece, there's a risk that you could lose a piece. Exception of the king. There's no trap for the king. And then the Divider is the add-on for Trap Chess, and the Divider lets you lay traps during the game instead of just laying them before. So that's my spiel. All right, we're gonna do this and just protect the center. Yeah, right now my dog, I've taught her a lot of tricks. She knows sit. She got really good at stay. Like, I was surprised because my last dog like struggled with stay for a while because she was always like, okay, I'm up. Like, no, stay. She's like, I don't want to stay. And I'd be like, sit, stay. And then she would only do standing stays, which is like more difficult to train. So it was like unique. All right, I hope there's no landmine. Ready? Ah, pawn landmine, pawn landmine. Nice. Yeah, so this one will stay. I can get her to stay, put her food down, and she won't touch the food, even though she's food driven, until I tell her it's okay. If I'm letting her out of the cage, I'll tell her sit, stay, and she'll just stay put until I open the door and tell her to come out. And that's really good. So she knows sit, stay, she knows come, she knows down, but she's struggling with down a lot. She won't do it unless I like put my hand down to the ground. Yeah, nice. Good pawn landmine. I was trying to basically block your bishop from coming out further, like, you know, taking away your good moves for the future, but I got hit by that landmine. She knows a move called wipe. Wipe is I taught it to my last dog. My last dog hated the shower, so she would just, like, if I had to give her a bath, she would just stand in one place. So with wipe, I would be like wipe, and she'd go in a circle, so I could spray water and get her in different spots and like clean her easier. And I also used it if it was raining. I'd come inside, be like wipe, and she'd go in a circle on the mat, and it would be like she's wiping her paws. So this dog, her name's Zelda. I taught Zelda wipe. No, up, so I can go like this and say up, and she'll put her paws on my hand. I'm considering doing that one less because she's still jumping quite a bit, so I'm still working on that. She knows come, sit, down, up. Let's go I'm working on, where I can point in a direction, and that's the direction we're going. So if she's pulling like left, I can get her attention point right and go let's go, and then she'll go right. Stay, I said. Up. I did jump, and then she jumped so high that she didn't plan for how she was going to land, and she just went boom, and then she was like, I don't want to do jump anymore, so I stopped doing that one. All right, we'll bring the knight out. There was, what else? Oh, leave it, of course. I've been working on leave it with her, and because I have a cat, I have 2 cats, so leave it is pretty good. She's pretty good at that now. I put a whole bag of treats in front of her, like cat treats, and she was like, I want these, and I was like, leave it, and she went, oh, okay, and she didn't touch them, so pretty proud of her. She's a really good girl. She's only 5 months old, but she's a really good dog. She knows paw. That's another one. I have a list. Let me see my list. Let's see. Okay, here it is. She knows come, sit, stay, down, leave it, heel. Heel is where I'll put my hand like this, like behind me, and I'll say heel. And then the whole premise is she has to come to me and touch her nose to my hand. And she's good at it. Up, jump, let's go, wipe, paw. And then I'm working on off, which is like if something's in your mouth, like drop it. But she mostly just like sits there and doesn't chew, and then I have to open her mouth and take it out manually. One time she got a sock. My wife was walking her and she picked up a sock. And and my wife was like, "Ah, it's gross," because if you find a lone sock anywhere, it's the story of how it got there is not a good story. And she pulled it out and dropped it on the ground, and she went, "Let's go." And the dog immediately picked up the sock again. She was like, "Ugh, gross." Considering some things. I see something. So, Jim's brother. I've been playing a good amount of chess lately, and when I play people at a higher level, or I'm thinking about it, I get better at thinking about it, and I see some really good moves for me right now. So I see a trap, and I don't know if it'll execute properly, but I'm going to try. So let me know if you see it. If you do something that stops the trap, I'll tell you. But I see like a sequence of moves that may be pretty good for me. Yeah, but take your time. Oh, today's shirt. It's the cookies. It's another Cookie Monster shirt. So like, I think Cookie Monster shirts are always really good, but it's a Beatles reference. It's the cookies. Let's see. Okay. That actually changes my trap. So I can't do it now. But I'll think of something else. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. You're up a pawn, right? Oh, but I have a knight. Yeah, so, okay. It's knight for pawn. I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. I'm just concerned. I'm thinking about if I do a move like that, like the moves I'm looking at, I could get hit with traps. And the goal is to not get hit with traps as much as possible. Okay. Let's do that. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I was so sure there was going to be a landmine there. I was like, there's definitely a landmine there. Cool. Oops. I did not want to resign. All right. Good game, Jim's brother. I didn't mention the checkmate. So you can see it there. The bishop on c4 is protecting the queen on f7, and the queen is right up in the right up in your king's face. Good game. You were thinking so hard, you didn't look for the checkmate. It's okay, it happens. Hey, thanks for playing with me. I do have to go now. My wife needs help with something, so thank you very much for playing with me. It was a great time and a great stream. Yeah, it's all good. Let's play again next time. But it was good seeing you again, good talking with you, and I had a great stream. Thanks a bunch. You have a good one.